The jungle was alive with sound. Birds called from the high trees, insects buzzed, and the wind pushed through thick green leaves. In the middle of this untamed land walked a young explorer named Ravi. His clothes were worn and his boots were covered in mud, but his eyes were bright with determination. He was not searching for gold or treasure. He was searching for history, something forgotten by time. Ravi had always loved old stories. From childhood, he had read about ancient civilizations and their mysteries. The Mayan people fascinated him the most. They had built great temples, studied the stars, and carved strange symbols into stone. Some said they were guided by gods, while others believed they were simply clever builders. Ravi believed there was more, something hidden that the world had overlooked. He had followed an old map, drawn by explorers long ago. It was faded, torn, and unclear, but it spoke of a temple deep inside the forest. Locals in a nearby village had warned him about the place. They spoke of a cursed relic, the golden skull, hidden by a Mayan lord long ago. They said the jungle itself protected the temple, and those who entered would not return. Many laughed at these tales, calling them superstition. But Ravi had listened carefully. Fear often hides truth, he thought, and truth was what he wanted. After days of travel, he finally saw it. Through the curtain of vines and trees, a shape rose from the earth. It was tall, made of heavy stone blocks and covered with moss. Time had nearly buried it, but its power remained. The temple stood silent, waiting, as if it had been holding its breath for centuries. Ravi felt a chill as he stepped closer. The air seemed different here, heavier, almost alive. He touched the stone wall and his hand brushed across carvings. The figures were clear despite the age. They showed people standing beside tall beings with strange shapes. Some had long arms, others had faces like stars. Above them were lines that looked like constellations. Ravi's heart beat faster. These were not normal drawings. They were stories of something more. He entered the temple carefully. The doorway was half blocked by fallen stone, but he pushed through. Inside, the air was cool and damp. Light from his torch revealed walls covered in more carvings. Some showed kings and warriors, others showed symbols he did not understand. But again and again the image of a skull made of gold appeared. It shone even in the dull carvings, its eyes wide, its mouth open as if speaking. At the center of the chamber stood a broken altar. Dust covered it, but in the cracks of the stone Ravi saw a faint glow. He bent down and brushed the dirt away. There, hidden beneath the layers of time, was a fragment of gold. It was small, shaped like a piece of a larger object, but it gleamed with a light that did not fade. He picked it up carefully. It felt warm in his hand, almost alive. Ravi held his breath. Could this be part of the golden skull? The thought filled him with both excitement and fear. If the legends were true, then this was no ordinary relic. It might hold secrets beyond his imagination. He placed the fragment safely in his bag and stood still, listening. The temple was silent, but the silence seemed to press against him. He felt as if unseen eyes were watching. For a moment he thought he heard a low hum, deep within the stone walls. He shook his head, telling himself it was only the wind. When he stepped back outside, the sun was setting. The sky burned with orange and red, and shadows stretched across the jungle. Ravi looked back at the temple. Its dark doorway seemed like a mouth warning him not to return. Yet he knew he would come back. Something had awakened inside that place, and now it was part of his journey. That night at his small camp, Ravi could not sleep. The jungle sounds surrounded him, but his mind was filled with strange thoughts. He dreamed while awake, seeing visions of a man dressed as a Mayan lord, his face stern, his crown high, and beside him stood beings of silver light. They held the golden skull between them, its glow reaching the stars. Ravi woke with sweat on his forehead. He looked at his bag where the fragment rested. For a moment he thought he saw it glow, faint but real. He rubbed his eyes, but the glow remained. His heart pounded. This was no dream. The golden skull was real, and it was calling to something beyond the jungle. Far above, in the endless sky, a signal stirred. Across the silence of space, something ancient began to awaken. The night in the jungle was quiet, but Ravi could not find peace. He sat near his campfire, staring at the small golden fragment resting in his bag. Its faint glow had not faded since he found it inside the temple. It pulsed like the slow beat of a heart, giving off a soft light that touched the trees around him. Every time Ravi closed his eyes, strange visions came. He saw stars forming patterns, temples rising from the earth, and a tall figure dressed like a Mayan lord. holding a shining skull of gold. When the fire burned low, Ravi lay down, hoping sleep would calm his mind. Instead, his dreams grew stronger. He saw the same figure again, this time clearer. The man wore heavy jewelry and a crown shaped like a serpent. His name echoed through Ravi's thoughts, though no one spoke it aloud. Khan. The Mayan lord looked straight at him, his eyes sharp, his hand resting on the glowing skull. Behind Khan stood beings not of this world, tall and graceful, with silver light flowing from their skin. They raised their hands to the stars as if opening a path to the sky. Ravi woke with a start, his breath heavy. He looked at the fragment, which now shone brighter than before. The glow filled the camp with golden light. The jungle had fallen silent. No birds called, no insects buzzed, as if nature itself was watching. Ravi reached out, touching the fragment. The warmth flowed into his hand and up his arm, making his skin prickle. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, steady and deep, as though the earth itself was singing. He stood up, holding the fragment high. The light spread into the trees, dancing across leaves and vines. Strange symbols appeared in his mind, glowing like fire on stone. They were the same symbols he had seen carved inside the temple. But now he understood their meaning. They were not only words, they were directions. They told the story of the golden skull, hidden to protect the world, waiting for the day when a seeker would return. The ground shook lightly, as if answering the call. Ravi stumbled, nearly dropping the fragment. The hum grew louder, mixing with the beating of his own heart. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the sound stopped. The jungle returned to life. Birds cried out again, insects sang, and the wind pushed through the trees. But Ravi knew something had changed. The fragment had awakened, and its signal was no longer hidden. Far away, beyond the sky in the endless dark of space, a ship stirred. Its walls were silver, smooth and alive with light. For centuries it had slept, floating silently. Now the signal of the golden skull reached it. Lights flickered and its engines glowed. Shapes moved inside, tall beings rising from long rest. Their eyes opened, filled with soft silver light. They turned toward the distant earth, listening to the call of the relic. Ravi, unaware of what was moving in the heavens, returned to the temple at dawn. The rising sun painted the stone walls with gold. He stepped through the broken doorway once more, guided by the pull of the fragment. Inside, the carvings seemed different. New lines and figures had appeared on the walls, as if drawn overnight. He touched the stone. The shapes shifted under his fingers, glowing faintly, showing scenes he had not seen before. This time, the carving showed Lord Khan himself. He stood with the golden skull in his hands, surrounded by his people. Beside him were the same tall beings Ravi had dreamed of. Together, they built towers, studied stars, and shared knowledge. But then the carvings darkened. Some men reached for the skull with greedy hands. Wars broke out, flames rising over temples. In the final image, Lord Khan sealed the skull inside the temple, his face filled with sorrow. Ravi pulled his hand away, his heart heavy. The golden skull was more than a relic. It was power, and power always came with danger. He looked at the fragment in his palm. If this small piece could call across the stars, what would the complete skull do? The thought filled him with both fear and wonder. As he stood there, a strange wind moved through the chamber, though no opening was large enough to let it in. The torches he had set flickered. From the shadows came a sound, soft and low, like a voice speaking in a language he did not know. Ravi turned quickly, holding up the fragment. The glow pushed back the darkness, but the voice remained. It was not threatening. It was calm, almost guiding. He listened closely. The voice repeated the same rhythm again and again, until the sound became clear in his mind. It was a name. Not his own, but one he had already heard in dreams. Khan. The Mayan lord was calling across time, his legacy alive in stone and gold. Ravi left the temple as the sun climbed higher. His hands trembled, but his steps were steady. He now understood what the villagers had feared. The golden skull was not only history, it was alive in some way, connected to something larger, something beyond Earth. The Mayan lord had hidden it for a reason, and now after centuries of silence it was awake once more. Above, unseen by human eyes, the silver ship changed course. Its engines flared, carrying it closer to the blue planet below. The beings inside spoke to one another in calm voices, their silver eyes watching the stars. They had waited for this call, and now it had come. The earth was no longer silent. The jungle was still heavy with mist when Ravi returned to the temple the next morning. The golden fragment burned warmly in his bag, guiding him forward like a secret sun. He walked carefully through the vines and stone, his ears tuned to every sound. Since the night of the awakening, he felt as if the forest was alive, watching him with hidden eyes. Each step was filled with both excitement and unease. Inside the temple, the carvings shone faintly in the dim light. New images seemed to have appeared again, telling stories he had not seen before. This time they showed a path of stars, a map leading from Earth to distant worlds. Ravi traced the symbols with his fingers. They were too exact to be only decoration. They looked like instructions, almost as if someone long ago had left a guide for the future. The air grew colder around him. Ravi stopped, sensing he was not alone. At first he thought it was his imagination, but then a soft hum filled the chamber. The same deep vibration he had heard before, only stronger now. It spread through the stone walls, the floor, even the air he breathed. He turned quickly, his torch trembling in his hand. From the shadows stepped a figure unlike anything Ravi had ever seen. Tall and slender, its skin shone silver like polished stone. Its face was smooth, with large, calm eyes that glowed faintly. The being moved with grace, as if it belonged to both earth and sky. Ravi froze, his heart pounding, unsure if he should run or speak. The figure raised a hand slowly, showing no harm. A voice entered Ravi's mind, not through his ears, but through his thoughts. The words were clear, though the being's lips never moved. "My name is Tura. Do not fear. I am here because the relic has awakened." Ravi's mouth was dry. He tried to speak, his voice shaking. You are real. You are the ones from the carvings." The being nodded gently. "Long ago my people walked beside yours. We shared knowledge, and together we built dreams. Lord Khan was our friend. He understood the balance between human courage and our wisdom. But the relic you hold is powerful. It must not be misused again." Ravi pulled the fragment from his bag. The golden light filled the chamber, reflecting in Tura's silver eyes. "This piece," Ravi whispered, "is part of the golden skull. I saw it in my dreams. I saw Lord Khan. What is it truly?" Tura stepped closer, the hum of the relic vibrating between them. "It is more than gold. It is a key of thought, a bridge of minds. With it, humans and my people could speak as one, share knowledge without words, join strength with understanding. But when greed rose, the balance broke. Wars followed. Khan chose to seal the relic, hiding it from both humans and stars." Ravi listened in silence. His thoughts spun with wonder and fear. The villagers had spoken of curses. Now he saw it was not a curse, but a warning. The golden skull was never meant to be treasure. It was a responsibility, one that weighed heavily in his hands. "But why me?" Ravi asked. "Why did it call to me after all this time?" Tura's glowing eyes softened. "Because you listened. Others came for gold or glory. You came for truth. The relic responds not to greed but to seeking hearts. That is why Khan's dream has found you." Ravi lowered his head, unsure if he was worthy of such a task. He was only a young explorer, not a leader, not a lord. Yet the weight of the fragment pressed against him, reminding him that choice had already been made. Suddenly a tremor shook the ground. Dust fell from the temple ceiling. The relic glowed brighter, sending a thin beam of golden light up toward the sky. Tura looked upward, his calm voice tightening. "The signal has gone too far. Others will come. Not all will be like me. Some will want to claim the skull for themselves. They do not believe humans are ready." Ravi's chest tightened. "Then they will come here?" "To Earth." "Yes," Tura answered. "Even now ships move closer. We have little time. You must decide whether to protect the relic or let it vanish again. Khan trusted his people once. That trust was broken. The question is, can humans be trusted now?" Ravi stared at the fragment. Its golden light flickered like a flame in the wind. He remembered the carvings of wars, the sorrow on Khan's face. The dream of unity turned into conflict. Could humans rise above their past mistakes? Could he, a single man, prove they were ready? The silence in the temple grew heavy, broken only by the beating of his heart. Finally, Ravi looked up at Tura. "I cannot promise for all of humanity, but I can promise for myself. I will not let the relic be used for greed. If it was meant to build a bridge, then I will protect it as a bridge." Tura studied him with eyes that seemed to see deeper than flesh. After a long moment, the being nodded. "Then perhaps Khan's dream still lives. You are not alone in this. I will guide you." Outside, the jungle stirred as if it too felt the change. High above, unseen by them, Silver ships drew closer to Earth, their engines glowing like stars. The first contact had begun, and the fate of the relic, and perhaps of humanity, now rested in Ravi's hands. The temple seemed different now that Ravi was no longer alone. The presence of Tura filled the ancient stone halls with both mystery and safety. The silver-skinned being moved calmly, touching the carvings as if they were pages in a book. Ravi followed closely, his golden fragment glowing brighter with each step. The deeper they went, the more the air felt alive, carrying whispers from the past. Tura led him through a narrow passage hidden behind a cracked wall. Vines had grown across the stones, but with a wave of his hand, the alien caused the vines to curl back as though obeying him. Behind the wall was a spiral stairway descending into the earth. The steps were worn but strong, carved with symbols of stars and serpents. Ravi's torchlight danced across the carvings, showing human figures standing beside shining beings. It was the same story he had seen before, but here it looked more complete. At the bottom of the stairway, the passage opened into a vast chamber. Ravi gasped. The walls glimmered with strange light, not from fire but from crystal veins running through the stone. In the center stood a platform shaped like a circle, and above it floated faint images shifting like smoke yet clear like glass. They were holograms, glowing forms created by some hidden device still alive after centuries. The first image showed a man in royal dress. His eyes were sharp, his crown tall, his chest heavy with ornaments. Ravi recognized him at once. It was the man from his dreams. It was Lord Khan. He stood proud, holding the golden skull in his hands. Around him gathered his people, faces filled with hope. Beside them stood Tura's kind, tall and silver, sharing tools and teaching. Together they built towers that rose toward the stars. Ravi's eyes widened. It's true. The Mayan lord was not only a ruler, he was part of something greater. Tura nodded, his silver voice echoing in the chamber. Khan was wise beyond his time. He believed humanity could rise to the stars not by force but by learning and sharing. He dreamed of a future where your kind and mine walked together as one. The images shifted. Now they showed scenes of great gatherings. Humans and silver beings worked side by side, drawing maps of constellations, building structures of both stone and light. Children ran between them without fear. For a moment Ravi felt joy at the sight of harmony. But the next scene grew darker. A group of human men stood apart, their faces twisted with hunger for power. They reached for the skull, their hands grabbing with greed. When Khan refused, conflict broke out. Fires rose, temples burned, and cries filled the images. Ravi watched in silence, his chest heavy. He saw Khan holding the skull high, his face filled with pain as battles raged around him. Then he saw the Lord seal the skull within the temple walls, tears falling as he walked into shadow. The images faded, leaving only silence. Ravi felt as if he had lived the story himself. He looked at the fragment glowing in his palm, realizing it was more than a piece of gold. It was a piece of history, a piece of hope, and a piece of danger. Khan's dream failed. Ravi whispered. Humans destroyed what he tried to build. Tura stepped closer, his silver eyes calm but firm. Dreams can fail in one age, but they can live again in another. That is why you are here. The relic has chosen you not to repeat the mistakes, but to choose a different path. Ravi shook his head. But I am not a leader like Khan. I am only one man. You are one man who listened, Tura replied. That is enough to begin. Khan himself was only one man when he first dreamed of unity. It is not power that shapes destiny, Ravi, but choice. The chamber grew brighter as the fragment pulsed in his hand. More symbols lit up across the walls, forming a circle around him. He could feel something awaken in his mind, like a door opening. For a moment he saw not with his eyes but with his thoughts. He saw Earth from the sky, blue and green. He saw ships moving through the stars, some calm, some filled with hunger. He saw choices spreading like branches, leading to peace or ruin. When the vision ended, Ravi fell to his knees, gasping. His heart pounded, his body shaking, but his spirit felt changed. He looked at Tura, eyes wide. I saw it. I saw the future. It can go either way. Humanity can rise, or it can fall again. Tura placed a hand on his shoulder, the touch light but steady. That is the truth of the relic. It does not force. It shows. The path remains in human hands. Ravi stood slowly, his resolve growing stronger. The story of Lord Khan was not only a tale of sorrow, it was also a reminder, a chance to begin again. He tightened his grip on the fragment. If Khan could guard the skull for his people, then Ravi could protect it for his. He would not allow greed to destroy this legacy a second time. As he and Tura left the chamber, the crystals dimmed, returning to silence. Outside, the jungle swayed in the wind, but far above, unseen by their eyes, more ships were moving toward Earth. Some carried those who honored Khan's dream. Others carried those who wished to claim the skull for power. The legacy of Lord Khan had returned, and the test of humanity was about to begin. The jungle no longer felt silent. Ever since the relic had awakened, Ravi noticed a change in the air. Birds flew in restless patterns, monkeys called at unusual hours, and even the trees seemed to tremble when the wind moved through them. Ravi felt it too, a weight pressing on his chest, telling him the world was no longer the same. Tura walked beside him, calm but alert. The silver being often lifted his head as if listening to voices that Ravi could not hear. When Ravi asked what troubled him, Tura only answered, "Others are coming. Others are both from your world and from mine." Ravi did not need more explanation. News traveled quickly among people. Even if the temple was hidden deep in the jungle, stories of strange lights and glowing gold would reach ears eager for treasure. And if the relic had sent its call into space, then surely not all who answered would come with peace in their hearts. That evening, Ravi returned to his small camp. He built a fire, but its warmth did little to ease his thoughts. He stared at the fragment glowing softly in his hand. Its light was beautiful yet heavy with meaning. The more he held it, the more he understood. This was not just history, it was responsibility. Humans will come for this, Ravi said quietly. They will not see unity or wisdom. They will see power. Tura's silver eyes reflected the fire. That is why Khan sealed it. But you are not Khan. You must make your own choice. The next day proved Tura's warning true. As Ravi explored the outer walls of the temple, he heard voices not far away. He ducked behind thick vines, his heart racing. A group of men appeared, carrying equipment and tools. Their clothes marked them as explorers, but their eyes carried hunger. They moved with excitement, pointing at the temple walls as if claiming them. One of them spoke loudly. "This is it. The villagers were right. There is gold here. We will be rich." Ravi clenched his fists. These men were not seekers of truth. They were seekers of treasure. He stayed hidden until they moved deeper into the ruins. Then he hurried back to Tura. "They have found the temple," Ravi said breathlessly. "They will tear it apart if we do nothing." Tura's voice was calm, but his tone was firm. "The relic's light has called them. You cannot stop humans from coming, but you can guide what happens next." Ravi was about to answer when the sky thundered, though no storm clouds gathered. He looked up in shock. A streak of silver cut across the heavens, moving faster than any plane. It slowed, glowing brighter, and disappeared beyond the trees. Ravi's chest tightened. Was that a ship? Tura nodded slowly. "Yes, not all who come will be your enemies, but not all will be your friends either." The jungle now carried danger from two sides. On one side were humans driven by greed. On the other were aliens whose purpose was unknown. Ravi felt small in the middle of it all, a single man holding a fragment that both sides would fight for. But he remembered the vision of Lord Khan. He remembered the sorrow in the Lord's eyes as he sealed the skull. He could not let that story repeat. That night, Ravi and Tura hid inside the temple, watching as the explorers set up camp outside. Their fires burned bright, and their laughter echoed through the trees. Ravi could hear them speaking of riches and glory. None of them spoke of responsibility. None of them spoke of unity. "Do you see now?" Tura asked softly. "The relic reveals the heart of those who seek it. Greed calls greed, but there is still hope. Others will come who seek more than gold." As if in answer, the ground shook slightly. A soft glow appeared at the temple's entrance. Ravi tensed, but Tura raised a calming hand. From the light stepped another silver being, taller than Tura, with markings across his skin that shimmered like stars. His voice was deep, carrying both strength and judgment. "You should not have awakened the relic," the newcomer said. His eyes rested on Ravi, sharp and questioning. "Humans failed once before. Why should they be trusted again?" Ravi swallowed hard but stood firm. "Because not all humans are the same. Some seek truth, not power. Lord Khan believed in unity. If he could believe, why can you not?" The being studied him for a long moment. Then he turned to Tura. "You risk much by standing with him." Tura answered calmly. "I risk nothing. I follow the dream that began here. It is not dead." The newcomer gave no reply but stepped deeper into the temple, as if to test the relic himself. Ravi felt the weight of what was to come. The temple had become the meeting place of past, present, and future, and humans and aliens alike were gathering, some with open hands, others with closed fists. The relic was no longer only a secret. It was a prize. As the night deepened, Ravi realized the rising conflict was no longer far away. It was here. He would have to stand between greed and hope, between fear and trust. The legacy of Lord Khan rested on his choice, and the true test of humanity was only beginning. The air inside the temple grew heavy as the newcomer examined the relic chamber. His tall figure glowed softly in the firelight, and the star-like markings on his body pulsed with quiet energy. Ravi felt small before him, yet he refused to step back. He remembered the words of Lord Khan and the hope he had seen in the vision. The being spoke again, his voice deep like distant thunder. "Human, the relic is not a toy. It is a key to knowledge that shapes worlds. Why should your kind hold such a thing, when your own people outside already dream only of gold?" Ravi's heart pounded, but he kept his voice steady. "Because greed is not the whole truth of us. Some of us care for more than treasure. Some of us want to learn, to protect, to grow. Lord Khan trusted humans once. He saw something good in us. That belief should not die because of those who choose the wrong path." Tura placed a silver hand on Ravi's shoulder. "He speaks with courage. The relic chose to awaken when he touched it. That is no mistake." The tall being studied Ravi with sharp eyes. Then he raised his hand, and the chamber filled with light. A new vision unfolded around them. Ravi saw images of ancient wars among stars, of worlds torn apart by desire for power. He saw humans building weapons, ships rising into space, and conflicts spreading across galaxies. Then he saw moments of kindness too, hands reaching to help, people sharing water, strangers becoming friends. The being's voice echoed through the vision. "Humanity stands between destruction and harmony. You can choose either path. The relic does not give answers. It only reflects the heart of the one who holds it. So I ask you, what do you seek from it?" Ravi felt the weight of the question press on him. He could almost hear the explorers outside laughing as they dreamed of riches. He could almost see future aliens arriving with armies. But he also remembered his mother teaching him to plant seeds in the soil, saying each seed carried life. He remembered his father's stories about honor and truth. "I do not seek riches," Ravi said clearly. "I seek understanding. If this relic holds knowledge, then it should be used to guide, not to rule. If it holds wisdom, then it should be shared, not hidden. That is what I want." The vision faded. The tall being lowered his hand. His face, once hard, softened just slightly. "Your words are strong, but words are not enough. Humanity must prove it can act with balance, not just speak of it." "How can we prove it?" Ravi asked. The being looked at Tura, then back at Ravi. "A test will come. The relic will call more. Humans and others will arrive. Some will fight for control. You must stand in the center of that storm. If you can protect unity while chaos grows, then you will have passed." Ravi felt both fear and determination rise inside him. He was only one man, yet the fate of trust between worlds now rested on his shoulders. He nodded. "Then I will face it." The tall being stepped closer to the skull fragment, but he did not touch it. Instead, he looked at Ravi. Know this. The relic does not choose lightly. It shows weakness and strength alike. If your heart wavers, its light will fade. Do not let fear guide you. With that, he turned and walked out of the chamber, vanishing into the glowing night outside. For a long time, Ravi stood in silence. Tura finally spoke. You have been given a great burden, but you are not alone. I will walk beside you. Ravi felt thankful for Tura's words, yet doubt still whispered in his mind. Could one man truly stand between greed and unity? Could humanity's worth be proven through him? The next morning, the temple echoed with noise. The explorers had entered deeper, their voices greedy and hurried. They had found carvings and broken stones, and their tools struck against the walls without care. Ravi felt anger rise, but he also knew anger would not guide him well. He stepped forward, holding the fragment in his hand. When the men saw him, they froze. The glow from the relic cast light across the chamber. Their eyes widened with shock, then hunger. That's it, one of them whispered. The treasure. Give it to us. Ravi lifted the fragment higher. This is not treasure. It is not for greed. It is for learning. If you take it with selfishness, it will destroy you. The men laughed, though uneasily. You cannot stop us. You are only one man. Ravi stood tall. Maybe I am only one, but I am not afraid. If you wish to touch this relic, you must answer first. Do you seek to build or to break? Do you seek to unite or to divide? The glow of the relic brightened as if supporting his words. The men hesitated. Some stepped back, uneasy. Others clenched their fists, unwilling to listen. The moment of choice had come. Ravi felt the test begin, not with war or blood, but with decision. Humanity's true face would be revealed not by strength of arms, but by strength of heart. And in that moment, standing between the relic and those who desired it, Ravi knew the world was watching. The first light of morning filtered through the jungle, casting long golden shadows across the temple walls. Ravi stood at the center of the chamber, holding the glowing fragment of the golden skull in his hands. Outside, the explorers had paused, their voices hushed. Even the birds seemed to wait in silence. The moment had come to decide the fate of the relic, and perhaps the future of humanity itself. Ravi felt the weight of responsibility pressing against his chest. He remembered Lord Khan standing proud yet sorrowful, sealing the skull away to protect the world. He remembered Tura's calm words and the warning of the silver being who had tested him. Now it was his turn to prove that humanity could rise above greed and fear. He raised his head, meeting the eyes of the explorers who had come seeking treasure. Their faces were filled with expectation, some with curiosity, some with desire. Ravi spoke with steady strength. This is not gold to take. This is knowledge to use. It is a bridge, not a weapon. If you take it with selfish hearts, it will bring nothing but loss. Some of the humans hesitated, unsure if they could believe him. Others stepped forward aggressively, reaching for the fragment. The glow from the relic intensified, spreading across the chamber like sunlight through mist. Its light seemed to reach into their minds, showing visions of past mistakes and future consequences. For the first time, many felt the weight of what they sought. From the shadows, Tura and the silver being who had tested Ravi watched closely. Their presence was calm but commanding, as if the temple itself were alive and guarding the relic. Ravi felt strength from their support, but he knew the choice ultimately belonged to him. He took a deep breath and extended the fragment outward. Look at it, he said. See what it truly is. It does not reward greed. It rewards unity. It rewards honesty. It rewards hearts that seek to build, not destroy. The explorers hesitated. Some lowered their hands, their eyes wide as they understood the truth in Ravi's words. Others hesitated, but greed still pulled at them. It was a test, not only of the human heart, but of choice itself. Ravi closed his eyes, letting the energy of the fragment flow through him. He felt visions again, but this time they were not only of the past. He saw a world where humans and the silver beings worked together, building cities that touched the sky, ships that traveled among stars, knowledge shared freely, and peace held strong. He also saw a world of fire and ruin, where greed and fear ruled and both humans and aliens suffered. Opening his eyes, Ravi realized the answer was clear. He would not allow fear or desire to guide him. He would offer the relic as a bridge of knowledge, not as a prize of power. Slowly, he lifted the fragment high above his head. The golden light expanded, filling the chamber and spilling into the jungle outside. The explorers gasped. Some fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the vision and the truth of the relic. Others stepped back, their eyes reflecting shame or wonder. Even the most determined of them hesitated, unsure how to claim something that demanded responsibility instead of taking. Tura spoke, his calm voice echoing in the temple. The relic has chosen its path. Humanity has been tested. Courage, wisdom, and honesty have been shown. The past need not repeat itself. From the sky above, the silver ships moved closer, not as threats but as witnesses. Their engines glowed softly, and their silver eyes observed the actions below. The beings had come from far across the stars to see if Earth was ready for trust. Now they nodded quietly to one another. Humanity had shown that it could rise above greed. Ravi lowered the fragment gently onto the altar. It settled without movement, as if resting after centuries of waiting. Its glow softened but remained, like a candle illuminating the path forward. He stepped back, feeling both relief and pride. The golden skull had not been claimed for power, but for hope. Outside the temple, the explorers spoke softly among themselves. Some spoke of lessons learned, of understanding, and of new dreams. Others remained silent, humbled by the moment. The jungle, alive and watching, seemed to breathe with a renewed energy. The relic had not only tested humanity, it had awakened the best in them. Ravi looked at Tura. "It is done," he said. "The legacy of Lord Khan." "We did not fail," Tura nodded. "Not all humans are ready, but some are. That is enough to begin. The temple and the relic will guide those who seek unity and knowledge. The rest will learn in time." The first light of a new dawn touched the temple stones, and the jungle seemed to shine in return. Ravi realized that this was only the beginning. The golden skull was no longer a secret, but it was safe. Humanity had earned respect not through power or violence, but through humility, courage, and wisdom. Far above, the silver ships returned to the stars, carrying news of Earth's choice. New friendships and alliances would grow, and the dream of Lord Khan would live on. The temple, once silent and hidden, now stood as a symbol of hope, guiding those who sought knowledge and unity. Ravi held Tura's hand, feeling both gratitude and determination. Together they watched the jungle wake to life, carrying the promise of a future where humans could rise among the stars. The golden skull had tested them, and humanity had passed. The new dawn had begun,